Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Apple or Spotify or Google, please leave a 5-star rating. This content is brought to you by Uphold, which makes crypto investing easy. You can buy, sell, trade, and earn cryptocurrencies on Uphold. I've been using this platform since 2017. They have 10 plus million users, 200 plus cryptocurrencies, and they're available in 150 countries. Always remember that when you use an exchange, you can buy and sell, but if you buy something, you should move it to your self-hosted wallet, whether that be a digital wallet or a hardware wallet. Self-custody is very important. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, check out the link in the description. All right, my friends, we got some more details around Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. And of course, it's not good news. The dumpster fire that is FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried continues to burn, and the flames are getting hotter here. So Sam Bankman-Fried personally took $300 million out of the $420 million raised in FTX's 2021 funding round, Wall Street Journal reports. Why am I not surprised? I think all of us right now are like, yeah. What else is going to come around, right? These guys were doing all types of fraud and scammy behavior with the money. And it's now, it kind of shows why they were down in the Bahamas and nobody was overseeing it. But the funds were flowing. The price of Bitcoin and altcoins were pumping last year. So no one, took the effort to really check this out. There were red flags there, but once again, in a time of euphoria, in a time of capital flowing and all the money coming in and people making money, they were not paying attention to what this guy was doing. And of course, a lot of scam activities happening. Also, what we got news here that Sam Bankman-Fried's lawyer, Paul Weiss, has dropped him as a client. Smart move, Paul. Cut your losses, hit the road, run away from this dumpster fire because, you play with fire long enough and you're going to get burned, right? So this comes as no surprise. And this right here, of course, is another major red flag. So I talked about it over a previous podcast, and that is, I don't think Sam is going to be able to raise the capital he's looking for to restore user funds. I think it's a lost cause, and that's unfortunate for the people who lost their money. Obviously, I would love for them to get their money back, but Sam is once again a dumpster fire here. It's like, what do you do with a dumpster fire? You got to put it out. You can't do anything for it. It has no value. So that's what's happening here, guys. It's a mess. So really sucks. And here's one that really hurts because it's teachers. The Ontario Teachers Pension Plan writes down the $95 million FTX investment to zero. And these are teachers' pension funds, guys. It's not in the United States, but, teachers have it hard enough as it is, and they don't make as much money as, that they should, given the level of work and responsibility they have. But to lose money, and then because of Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX doing scam activities, that's really bad. And I hope, in some way they're able to restore these funds, whether the government, or insurance or whatever it may be. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Now, here's a weird video. And I know some of you listening to the audio won't be able to see this, but there's a video circulating on Twitter showing Maxine Waters blowing a kiss to Sam Bankman-Fried after a congressional hearing last year where Sam testified. It's so eerie. It's so weird. But we know Maxine Waters, as well as Representative Patrick McHenry, they're going to be leading the bipartisan congressional hearing in December to oversee with the FTX collapse. Let's see what they do. Once again, I think Maxine Waters and so a lot of these Democrats were playing nice with Sam because he was donating billions, right? Not billions, excuse me, millions of dollars to the campaigns. I think he was the second largest donor to President Biden. So, they're kissing his ass. He's blowing him a kiss. So, it really sucks. And it just shows that you can pay to play. And that's really sad. It shouldn't be that way, but the system will have to be fixed. Maybe blockchain will fix that problem, especially with campaign donations and where the money's coming from, and folks being able to contribute to campaigns, track their funds on the blockchain, where it's going, how it's being used, and all that. And there's more transparency on that front. Now, there's some weird things happening. I don't know if Sam is doing this or it's the political people who Sam donated to, but there is media coverage of the FTX collapse, but it's painting Sam in a way that we should feel pity for him or feel sorry for him. And here's an example of a headline that came out from the Washington Post. FTX collapse dooms founders' efforts to prevent another pandemic. What? What? How about talking about this guy scamming people and all the fraud they were doing down in the Bahamas, right? How about talking about what he was doing with Alameda Research and so forth? They're trying to paint him in the best light possible. And I don't know if Sam is paying these people to do this, but you have the New York Times doing it. And it just shows, man, mainstream media, they have no more credibility. And this is not a political thing. I don't care if you're left or right or whatever. You got to admit this thing, there's no credibility here. And I think this is why new media, such as podcasts, such as YouTubers and so forth, people who are sharing facts and it's not some biased take, right? And you know, on this podcast and on the video, I love to show my sources and share the facts. And whether you agree with my opinion or not, at least I gave you the basis of the situation, and that is the facts. Here's what happened, right? But mainstream media, you know, they put out these narratives, and sometimes they're paid, and sometimes they want access, and they don't, you know, cover the story in a factual way, which is a major collapse in the press. And but you know, the great thing about freedom of press, and I know I'm gonna get off my soapbox in a minute, but you know, the great thing about freedom of press, it doesn't apply just to these corporate media companies. It applies to you and me, and the ability for us to go out and share the news and tell the story from you know, what we've seen and what we've heard. So that's the great thing, and we're seeing that new media is taking over, right, with social media. You know, the ability for anybody to create a podcast or a YouTube channel. So that's at least the silver lining here. But it just shows mainstream media is collapsing. It has no credibility. Now, Congressman Warren Davidson, who I'm a fan of, you know, he's been fighting on behalf of crypto. Of course, the author of the Token Taxonomy Act. He's been working with Democrat Darren Soto for years, trying to get crypto regulations going. He was on Charles Payne's show on Fox Business, and he talked about how the SEC failed here. They met with the Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX, yet Gary Gensler did nothing. He was going after Kim Kardashian, right? Keeping up with the Kardashians. So Warren Davidson, I'll play the clip for you guys, but he also tweeted out with the video, he said, Gary Gensler gave FTX a free pass, but went after Kim Kardashian. The SEC's regulation by selective enforcement is harming the industry and failing to protect consumers. My Token Taxonomy Act provides regulatory clarity and solves this problem. Let me play the clip here for you guys and what he had to say.
Whether it was Jay Clayton or Gary Gensler, they told everyone in the space, come talk to the SEC and work out your deal. What people found out was there was no escape path. Once you come in and talk to the SEC, you're in endless discovery. And at this point, it's really hard to see how the SEC hasn't engaged in selective enforcement. I mean, they were collaborating closely with the, FTX with Sam Bankman-Fried, and so was the CFTC. Meanwhile, they're going after Kim Kardashian. Yeah. You're like, really? Yeah. You got Kardashian, but you didn't get this FTX fraud?
Great points that he made there in the video, and he highlighted selective enforcement, right? And that shows and he also mentioned Jay Clayton, which I was a very smart move by him because it goes back to the Ripple situation. Jay Clayton filed the lawsuit against Ripple, and now Gary Gensler, he's once again keeping up with the Kardashians, right? And playing bullshit games with Library. Like, really, Library is a big threat to the whole economy, while you have Celsius, Luna, you have FTX, You have 3 Arrows Capital on these folks, losing billions of dollars, collapsing a lot of big parts of the crypto industry. Really, Kim Kardashian and libraries, the problem. Unbelievable, guys. But this is the problem, right? Going back to governments and clearly Gary, I think, is paid off. He's the incumbents have paid him off to slow down this crypto market. He allowed certain things to happen, and he'll do his little victory lap about Kim Kardashian. But that really is like you caught the kids who were stealing cookies from the cookie jar while the bank robbers were cleaning out the vault right under your nose. That's the analogy that I think sums it up well, right? Let me know if you agree with me there. Now, let's move ahead here. We got some very big news, guys. Very, very bullish news. Man Group readies crypto hedge fund despite FTX chaos. This new strategy is led by Man's AHL's money manager, Andre Rizm. The launch is subject to the firm's counterparty risk measures. Guys, I tweeted about it. I know I've talked about it. Despite this FTX situation, within the past 3 to 4 months, you still had BlackRock, BNY Mellon, Google, MasterCard, NASDAQ, and many more launch crypto services. And guess what? More are going to come. And these big players know when there's blood on the streets, that's the time to go buy. That's the time to go scoop up these companies which are not in a great place and build out your services and prepare for the next bull market and future bull markets. So you're going to see some of the biggest investment firms, hedge funds, stock exchanges, banks, credit card companies, all continue to build. So let me give you the details here, guys. The world's largest publicly traded hedge fund firm has been developing this strategy led by the money manager, Andre Rizm, for months. According to the people with knowledge of the matter, the firm's computer-led trading unit, AHL, is planning to start a fund as soon as the end of the year, said the people, asking not to be identified because the plan is private. Man Group already trades cryptocurrency futures with AHL and will start the dedicated fund only after assessing counterparty risks. One of the people said. Chief Executive Officer Luke Ellis said last year the firm was weighing up whether crypto strategies were scalable. So, guys, they're going to keep building. The FTX situation is painful. It sucks. People have lost their money. But as we've seen, in the past collapses, even with Mt. Gox and so forth, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. The technology is here to stay. It's not going away. And the governments are adopting it for their tokenization of fiat currencies and CBDCs. We're seeing tokenization on the blockchain. And, the unfortunate truth here, which I think a lot of people may not like, is that this FTX collapse is going to usher in the traditional financial players to come take over and lead in the crypto market versus the startups like your Coinbases and what could have been FTX, right? And Grayscale and so forth. With those who could have led the market, I think BlackRock and these big banks are going to come in. And unfortunately, guys, they're going to take the lead on crypto. That's what I'm predicting. I could be wrong, but I think you all sense it too. This collapse opens the door for heavy regulations, not to kill the market or the asset class, but to allow those who are already, regulated. They already have the infrastructure set up with insurance, security, reporting, all that jazz. They're going to come in and own the market. So it is what it is. You have the opportunity, if you're here now, to, of course, dollar cost average, buy the lows. That's what I'm doing. And preparing for the next bull market and future bull markets. And of course, self-custody your crypto. Don't leave it on an exchange. Do not leave it on an exchange, guys. It's not your keys, not your crypto, right? Once again, you can use a hardware wallet. I use the Ledger Nano S or X, or you can use a self-hosted digital wallet like the Zum wallet, Trust wallet. You can research and see what you like best, but the idea is self-custody is so important so you don't lose your funds because we're still in the early days of this market and there's still ways to go. Anyway, guys, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, share this video, and I'll talk to you all later.